Okay, next is reliability estimate. So what is reliability estimate? So some books use types of reliability. Some books use how can we establish or how can we calculate or measure reliability. Okay, in this subtopic, we are going to discuss four types of reliability estimates, which are internal consistency reliability, test-retest reliability, alternate forms reliability, and lastly, inter-rater reliability. So under internal consistency reliability, we are going to discuss two types of internal consistency reliability, which are Cronbach alpha, as well as split half reliability estimate. Okay, first, let's discuss on internal consistency reliability. So this type of reliability is commonly the most used or the most applied types of reliability to evaluate whether a psychological measure is consistent or not or free from error. Okay, internal consistency reliability evaluates how consistently a set of items, all of the questions within a measurement instrument, within a scales, the same underlying construct or measure under the same underlying traits. Okay, so this evaluate how would consistently all of the items measure the same constructs. So basically, internal consistency reliability assess the homogeneity of the test. So what is homogeneity? Homogeneity is measuring interrelationships between the questions or between the items. Okay, you will come across homogeneous tests or heterogeneous tests. So homogeneous refers to homogeneity of the items, whereby all of the items measure the same construct. Okay, so internal consistency is suitable to measure a homogeneous test. So under this internal consistency reliability, there are two types of internal consistency reliability that we can measure or we can establish. The first one is split half. The second one is Cronbach alpha. Okay, in some textbook, you will come across other types of reliability estimates that are available that we can use. Okay, such as Kuder-Richardson Formula 20 or Kuder-Richardson Formula 21. Okay, however, we just focus on these two first. Split half reliability as well as Cronbach alpha. So what is split half reliability? Split half reliability obtained by correlating two pairs of scores obtained from equivalent halves of a single test administered at once. So basically, if you have 20 items, okay, you want to establish internal consistency reliability using split half methods, you have to divide the 20 items into two. Okay, one half 10, another half is 10. So basically here, you need an equal number of tests. If you have 12 tests, then you have to split those 12 items into 6 and another 6. Okay, so how can we compute this split half reliability? So the first one, like I mentioned just now, we have to divide the test into equivalent halves. So if you have 20 items, so you have to divide into two halves. One half 10 items, another half is another 10 items. And then we calculate Pearson R between scores on the two halves of the test. So we use split half methods. So we need to divide into two, and then we calculate Pearson R, which is correlation. And then the next step, we adjust this correlation between the two halves. We adjust half test reliability using the Spearman-Brown formula. Okay, and then we will get a score of split half reliability. So Spearman-Brown formula allow us to estimate internal consistency reliability from a correlation of two halves of the test. Okay, so this is one of the method which is split half reliability. So other methods that we can estimate or we can calculate internal consistency reliability is by using inter-item consistency. So what is inter-item consistency? Inter-item consistency refers to the degree of correlation among all the items on the test. Okay, we look at the correlation of all items. Okay, if you recall back, so we have conducted inter-item correlations. So the same process applied here. So beside inter-item consistency that can give us an indications of internal consistency reliability, we can also establish internal consistency reliability through coefficient alpha. Okay, you may more familiar with Cronbach alpha. Okay, referring to the same thing. So here, coefficient alpha refers to the mean of all possible split half correlation. Okay, I refer. Coefficient alpha is the mean of all possible split half correlation. So basically, if you are doing split half, you by right can also estimate coefficient alpha or Cronbach alpha. So when we have this means, we corrected by the Spearman formula. So we will get a range between 0 to 1. Okay, Cronbach alpha of 0 0.6, 0 0.7, 0 0.8, and etc. So the standard values and that psychologists accepts of the internal consistency and reliability is as follows. Okay, when we calculate, okay, when we analyze of internal consistency reliability, say for example Cronbach alpha, we are looking at the value of above 0.7. Okay, so the most acceptable value is above 0.7. So if you calculate your Cronbach alpha in SPSS, for example, and you get 0.7 and above, then most psychologists or most researchers will accept that your skills, your measures, your inventory, or your test demonstrate internal consistency reliability. Okay. However, say for example, after you calculate your internal consistency reliability, you calculate your Cronbach alpha, then you get the value between 0.5 to 0.69. Okay, you got 0.6 for examples. So this is acceptable but with condition. Okay, what is the condition? It's only acceptable for exploratory study. Okay, for descriptive study. So if you are doing some inferential study, so this is not acceptable. Okay, what is acceptable is exploratory study. You want to know what is the level high or low or moderate of a particular test. Okay, and the general consensus among researchers, if your Cronbach alpha value less than 0.5, you get 0.49, 0.48, 0.4 for examples, these alpha values is not acceptable. In other words, your tests, your measures, your inventory, your survey may not demonstrate a proper internal consistency reliability. Okay, so that is internal consistency reliability, whereby we can establish through two methods. Either we use Cronbach alpha or we use split half reliability estimate. So like we mentioned early on, there are four types of reliability that we can estimate. Okay, internal consistency, test retest, iterator, and etc. So how can we decide when we want to use? We want to use internal consistency, or we want to use test retest, or we want to use other forms of reliability estimate. So for internal consistency reliability, this is the general application, the consensus among researchers when we can use internal consistency reliability to estimate the reliability of our measures. First one, that scale, the measures that we want to find out what is the reliability of that scale, measure only one construct. Okay, remember if you recall, so internal consistency is measuring the homogeneity of the items, whether the items measure one construct or not. Okay, so it's measure only one construct. Okay, please bear in mind, this one construct does not refer to multi-dimensional construct. Okay, so it's not referring whether it's unidimensional or multi-dimensional construct. Sometimes your construct might be unidimensional. So this is clear cut, whereby the test supposed to be homogeneous. While sometimes, okay, your constructs, your test is multidimensional. What multidimensional? It have several components or several dimensions that it's measured. Okay, they have cognitive components, they have affective components, they have behavioral components, for example. So this is still referring to one construct, but that construct is multidimensional. Meaning that all of these dimensions are interrelated, they are referring to only one construct. But this construct have two components or three dimensions in the construct itself. Okay, another aspect that makes internal consistency reliability suitable to be applied is the test do not have too many items. Okay, too many items. So if you look into at the literature, you can see that there are different range of items that use internal consistency reliability. Some tests, for example, life satisfaction skills, they only have 5 items. Okay, for cultural intelligence tests, they have 20 items. Okay, for social intelligence, they have 21, for example. So they are different range, but you will not find a test that have like 100 items that use internal consistency reliability. Okay, and one thing that you need to bear in mind that when you want to use internal consistency reliability estimates to measure or to find out the reliability of your constructs, is not suitable to be used for true false tests or correct or wrong items, okay, which is dichotomous items. So if you find out there are tests, okay, your test is using inventory, okay, your participants need only to indicate whether they have those characteristics or not. Okay, it's basically dichotomous items. They only have two range of answers. So these types of psychological tests, this type of inventory is not suitable if we want to establish their internal consistency reliability. Okay, you may need to find out their reliability using difference estimate, okay, such as test with test reliability or iterator reliability. So what is the suitable types of tests that we can use internal consistency reliability to measure its construct, okay, or to measure, to estimate the reliability of the construct. Okay, we can use, which is mostly applied for attitudinal construct, okay, attitudinal construct, okay, motivational construct, okay, anything related to your preference, okay, your tendency to perform certain ways or to like certain ways. Okay, here, how can you identify whether this is suitable or not? You can also look at the types of response format that they use. Okay, for example, if you look into many tests that you have answered before, you can find that many of those tests are attitudinal related construct and they use like type scale. Okay, Likert type scale. So what is Likert type scales? The response format that asks you to indicate your agreements towards certain statements. Okay, whether you are strongly disagree, you neither agree nor disagree, you agree or you strongly agree. Okay, so those are examples of Likert scale or Likert type scales. Okay, we discussed this a little bit before. So some researchers would like to use frequency-based scales. They term it as Likert types response format, where they ask the respondents to indicate whether they have performed a certain behavior or they have feel a certain emotions frequently. Okay, they start with never, seldom, okay, regular or always, for example. So this has been termed as Likert types response format. Okay. So in this sense, if they have this range of response formats, strongly disagree, strongly agree, highly favorable or disfavorable, so you can apply or you can use internal consistency reliability to estimate its reliability properties of the scale.